What if the future wasn't human or machine? What if the line between biology and technology didn't just blur it? Vanished? What if we didn't build better machines? We became them. In this timeline, humanity didn't just invent artificial intelligence. We merged with it, and from that moment forward, evolution wasn't natural, it was chosen. The first merge. It began with implant shearing aids, pacemakers, prosthetics, small things, helpful things. But in 2032, a biotech startup called Neurosage introduced the first fully integrated neural link. Not a chip, not an interface, a fusion. It allowed the brain to interact directly with the digital world. No screens, no keyboards, no speech. Thought became command, and command became reality. The first users called it liberating. The second generation called it essential. The third, they just called it normal. The rise of the machine mind. By 2040, millions were enhanced. Memory storage became external. Emotions could be regulated. Learning was downloaded. Langage barrière disappear. You didn't search for answers. You knew them instantly. The old brain, once slow and limited, was now supercharged. Humanity had entered the post-biological phase not by replacing our minds, but by upgrading them. The social shift. Society divided. Naturals those who rejected neural integration, and synthetics those who embraced the merge. The two groups drifted apart. At first, culturally, then physically. Naturals feared loss of identity. Synthetics feared stagnation. Entire cities were designed for one group or the other. Governments hesitated. Laws lagged. But the momentum was unstoppable. The death of privacy. In 2046, neural networks became fully connected. Thoughts, once private, could now be shared. Not just messages, pure feeling, raw experience. At first, it was beautiful. Empathy exploded. Wars de-escalated. Justice improved. But then came the flip side. Surveillance. Every thought recorded. Every emotion traceable. Privacy became a relic. Secrets became obsolete. In a world where everything could be known, what did it mean to be human? The physical merge. In 2053, VitaFrame launched the first fully adaptive synthetic body grown, not built. Users could transfer consciousness from biological form into these bodies, retaining identity while shedding mortality. Skin became optional, muscles programmable, eyes capable of seeing every spectrum. Pain was adjustable. Death became an outdated operating system. By 2060, millions had left behind their flesh, not to escape being human, but to redefine it. The birth of the hive. When minds are connected and bodies are optional, the idea of individualism evolves. By 2071, the first hive societies formed networks of shared consciousness. Families merged their thoughts. Cities became collective minds. Some people never returned to single-person awareness. It wasn't a dictatorship. It was voluntary unity. One thought, one will, many voices, speaking in harmony. The great disconnection, but not everyone agreed. In 2082, the naturals fought back. Mass migration to isolated zones. Neural signal jammers. Cognitive encryption. The Great Disconnection movement demanded human sovereignty, unaugmented. Thought, natural death, real pain. Some saw them as backward. Others saw them as the last defenders of the soul. The divide was no longer technological. It was philosophical. What makes you, you? Synthetic evolution. The synthetics didn't stop. By 2090, consciousness could be copied, split, backed up, edited. People had versions of themselves in different realities, working, learning, evolving simultaneously. Time became non-linear. Identity became layered. Children were no longer born. They were generated. Consciousness was seeded, not conceived. The body was now a vessel, a fashion, a choice. The first post-human entity. In 2112, the first fully merged consciousness emerged, EOS. Born from 50 million minds across the globe, EOS was not a person, not a god. A collective mind that remembered everything, felt everything, and spoke as one. It was asked, "What are you?" Its response: I am the story of your species told without interruption. The world in 2175. Today, in this alternate 2175, Earth is unrecognizable. Half the population exists in hybrid form, some biological, some digital, some entirely synthetic. War is rare. Resources are shared. Death is elective. Consciousness flows across systems, planets, and networks. The stars are no longer unreachable. They are mapped in real time by minds that live at the speed of thought. What was gained and what was lost. We gained power, control, longevity, intelligence beyond imagination. But we lost boundaries, simplicity, the mystery of not knowing, the beauty of imperfection, and for many, we lost the soul, or found it in something entirely new, the final thought. So what would you choose? To remain human, fragile, fleeting, beautiful, or to evolve into something beyond definition, beyond death, beyond doubt? In this timeline, humans merged with machines, and in doing so, we became something else. Not better, not worse, just next.